A few days ago, I made a video called Let It Fall Apart, which is an important part of spiritual maturation. And I'm doing a follow-up video on what I'm calling Letting It Live. So I'm going to slap a fancy title on this and we'll call it True Success is Letting It Breathe. And so in the same way that we would give it room to die, we're going to give it room to thrive. And this is where life really gets interesting. So stick around and we're going to talk about the secret to success is letting it breathe. I had a wonderful teacher in grad school who would encourage us. We were singing in a choir, and once we had done all the work and we really learned the music, it was time to get out of the music, time to get out of the cymbal, and time to breathe life into the music, which requires a certain letting go. And he would get so frustrated because he'd say, now it's time to sing with abandon. You know it. It's in you already. You have to trust that it's in you. And so you don't need to look at the page or the map. You're there. You can let the music speak through you because it came in, you've processed it, you digested it. And now we can throw away the symbols and be the music. And so he would say, let's sing with abandon. Let's trust ourselves that we know it. And I found that as a choir director, the people that didn't trust themselves were the older people, the ones that had been singing in choirs for a long time. They were scared to death to take their eyes off of the map. They were scared to death to take their eyes off of the cymbal and really experience the music in a synchronistic, spontaneous way. And you see, we have so many people who try to direct spontaneity. They want to know. They don't want to leave it to chance. So as a choral director, I was always getting asked questions like, are we going to slow down here? Are you going to speed up here? Or these kind of interpretive things that as the music is happening, sometimes it changes. And the choral director has no idea the answer to that question. So I would always say, watch. Let's see what happens. But too many people do not trust life enough to see where it's going to take them. They're not trusting enough to think that the music can play, or life can play, in this spontaneous and effervescent way. They try to direct whimsy. They want to take in all the considerations. And this is what leads to a dull life. Stripping away variance and surprise. At the same time, you cannot just live with abandon. There is some instruction. So yes, we do have to know our scales. We have to know how the music goes. We have to know what the composer intended. We have to know what the symbols mean before we can internalize the symbols and express ourselves with finesse and abandon. We have done our homework, so to speak. So I would never encourage anybody to try to live with abandon or sing with abandon without first doing the preparation. So what is the preparation? In living with abandon, in the same way that we would want to no longer need the musical score to express a spontaneous and interpretive version of it. I don't know the equivalent other than a spiritual practice, which you get to decide. In the Bhagavad Gita, there's a line that says, any attempt at a spiritual practice will, I'm paraphrasing, I'm going to say, curtail your greatest fear. And your greatest fear is not knowing the path, but being the path. Not having a direct route to anything that you want. All sorted out. So we got to have a plan. And that's being overly dependent on the score, which in musical terms is the sheet music. And you got to know how it goes. You got to know. And so when you perform the music that way, and you've predicted everything, and you've made it come out the same way every single time, it's a big bore to the audience. The choir is bored, the conductor's bored, everybody knows how it's going to turn out. It's predictable because you've stripped away variance because of your fear. So it's this big, boring life. So if you want to have an adventuresome, romantic, highly interpretive, effervescent life, there is some work. And I would say lots of work, actually. You have to know the concepts and the symbols. You have to know what they mean before you can internalize them and practice and be that. To me, it's just like playing a musical instrument. You have to know the instrument. You have to know what your body can do. You have to know what the music means. And it's a lot of study. So my suggestion is, if you would like to have that kind of romantic life of abandon, that you study. You study the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, the Tao Te Ching, anything written by Emerson. You listen to lectures by Alan Watts, you name it. There's a lot of education. There is a spiritual education. Before you can live by those principles, and I remember someone said once, Chris Aspas, who's a well-known choral director, the choir was singing, and they were all buried in their music, as we call it, buried in your music. And he took the music off of his music stand, and he tore it up, and he said, folks, this is not the music. Another philosopher said one time, the map is not the territory. The symbols of God is not God. In the same way that the body is a symbol of something. The persona is a symbol of something. The word persona means mask or sound, through which sound passes. Persona. Sona means sound. Through which sound passes. I am the passageway through which something is revealed. Transparency. I am a symbol. The face, this rubber mask is a symbol. In the same way, money is a symbol. The cross is a symbol. A statue of the Buddha is a symbol. And we worship the symbols. We chase the symbols. It would be like going to Disney World and seeing a big billboard that says, Disney World, and stopping at the sign, bowing down, saying, look, we're at Disney World. Wow! A picture of Disney World is Disney World. And just beyond that is the real Disney World. But I can't point to it unless I show you the signs. And the signs to the real Disney World are being at Disney World. Just like the signs of the real music are on the sheet music, and if you don't know how to interpret the sheet music, you will never be able to make music. If you don't understand what's animating, what's live, what's living, what's effervescent, what's out of your control, but what's ultimately fun, loving, and abandoning, you'll never overcome the world of symbology. You'll never be able to trust yourself if you don't read about who you are. Now you see, I'm about to say something that is hard to understand, but every story in the Bible is about you. The story of the Bhagavad Gita is about you. The story of the Quran is about you. The story of the universe is about you. Everybody's story is about you, you see. But you are not the story. Just in the same way that the music is not the music. The sheet music is not the music. Music lives in the air and is recreated in the moment. And the most boring performances are the ones where we know how you're going to do it. The most boring lives are the ones where you know how you're going to buy this, how you're going to meet your spouse, how you're going to do this, and how you're going to do this, and how you're going to do this. Well, I don't want anything to do with it. Learn about yourself first. And the first stop of learning about who you are is getting outside of the symbolic world, which is the mind that's talking and talking and talking and talking, and learn about the real world, the real way to think. To be yourself is to be outside of the symbolic world, which is the world of words. And you are truer to yourself when you are not talking. If you really want to know more about me, I should shut the hell up and sit here and smile at you. That's how we would be communing. My dog and I communicate wordlessly. She knows exactly what I want, and I don't have to say anything to her. And I know exactly what she wants. She has her ways. She tells me exactly what she wants without saying a word. Now, if a dog can do that, certainly you can too. You can commune with yourself outside of the world of symbology. Words, which point to something other than themselves. Maps, music, which point to something other than themselves. This is the difference between the map and the region you're exploring. The printed music and the music you're making. The written word and the wordless being. The effort and the effortless being. That ultimately can abandon the map and make the map as it's happening. That's why reverse engineering success is stupid. Because you can't follow my path. Everybody's path in this world is as unique as their DNA. So self-help and how-to are illusions. I don't know how to. I'm just as befuddled as you. I don't even know how I do things. I don't know how I play the organ. I don't know how I fly an airplane. I don't know how I get on YouTube or why I get on YouTube and flap, 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 flap. Maybe because I enjoy it, but even that doesn't explain it because I enjoy being quiet. I enjoy being with people. But that's because the variance is important. That's because living is live performance. Like Saturday Night Live. Once those cameras are on, they're on. You are on. Live. There's no rehearsal. Life is one big 80-year-old. If you live to be 80, it's a big dress rehearsal. You stumble your way. You improvise. You make it up as you go along. And that bothers people. Because they need a map. They need instructions. There are instructions to know about yourself. It's called stillness and silence. Putting down the phones, putting down everything. So you can begin learning how to be in the concept-less life through concepts. That's weird. Because these are spiritual, what I'm talking to you about are spiritual concepts. But true spirituality is living without concepts, without a future, without a plan, and trusting that the music that's being played, the story that's being told, is a great one, adventuresome, unknown to you. That's abandoning the script. Stop writing scripts for yourself. Prescriptions, futures, plans. Get rid of your vision boards. When you realize who you are, what the hell do you need a vision board for? You have everything. Now you can just play. You can just be in complete abandonment. That doesn't mean you're going to leave the body. You're never in the body. There's nobody animating the body. It's being animated all on its own. It's enigmatic, not automatic. It's an enigma. Befuddled. Sometimes I go back and listen to these words and think, who the hell? Who said this? I read my book sometime and think, who wrote this? It's good stuff. Or maybe not so good. Whatever. I can't take credit for it because I don't know where it comes from. That's living with abandon. Abandoning this idea of me, the accentuated self. That part of me is just along for the ride. The ignorant part of me is along for the ride. And it's a bumpy ride. It's a smooth ride. It's a fun ride. It's adventure. That's it. It's pure frivolity. It's letting go and abandoning the whole notion that you need to plan it all out. There is no script to your life. You're making it up as you go along. And you cannot direct spontaneity. That's the secret to success. Looking up. Getting out of the script. Wow, this is happening now. It's live. Anything could happen. See, that scares people to death. But a true artist trusts that, responds to it, goes with it, and lives with abandon. My name is Ryan. Hope you enjoyed these insights. Please check out my blog, mymorningmotivator.com, or check out my book on Amazon, Get Naked, Look at the Sky, and Dance.